Hello and welcome to some Total War Warhammer 2 with me, Mars. Now, I suffer from a condition known as ladder anxiety. This is the condition where you've got a real fear of pressing go on the quick battle inside to get some 1v1 action going. So, in a bit of an effort to try and combat my ladder anxiety, perhaps help others with their ladder anxiety, or just get some feedback on how not to suck quite so much at this game, I've decided to record my online battles and just throw them up to see what happens. So this is going to be a 1v1 versus the Lizzardmen. Now I've chosen the High Elves, and I have to say I play with the High Elves more than anything else because I'm loving them as a faction. I think they're very diverse, have some great units, and ever since I heard someone say that although they thought the game was very balanced, that the High Elves were perhaps a little bit underpowered. As a Brit, I just love them even more. And who wouldn't love a dragon that looks like that? I mean, it's just looking absolutely awesome. I have got the game on pause just because this starts off very, very quickly. So this is like my fourth or fifth online battle, my quick battle, and I press go, and who else do I get? None other than Heir of Carthage, which I can tell you is not good for my anxiety, but there we go. We'll give it our best shot, and we'll just see what happens. So let's get onto the unit rosters. So I have gone. I'll put this on, like I said, it goes off quick, so I'm going to put this on slow motion. So I wanted to go for a very high tier infantry army. I think it might be a good way to deal with the Lizzardmen. They come, in my limited experience, as a very rushy faction. High Elves are known for their archers, and I think that's why Lizzardmen go full on rush, kind of against them, which makes sense. Now I did bottle it a bit. I've got 4 spearmen across my front here, and I did originally have the White Lions across here as much more high tier infantry, but when I saw who my opponent was, I kind of bottled it a bit and thought this might be a safer option. So I've got 4 spearmen across my front, 2 Loathen Sea Guard on either flank here, and behind them Phoenix Guard, 2 Phoenix Guard. I think this was probably a slight misdeployment. I think the Phoenix Guard should have been at the front and the Loathen Sea Guard further back so they could have kept firing for longer. But probably a bit of a misdeployment from me. I have a High Mage here, and then I've got my Prince on a Star Dragon and a second Star Dragon. And one of the reasons I brought these 2 Star Dragons is because the Lizzardmen are not known for their anti-air or their air capabilities, so I'm hoping these will go pretty much uncontested in the sky. So let's have a look at my opponent. Kind of as predicted, he has brought a very rushy Lizzardman army, which is designed to smash straight into my front lines. On the flanks, he's got a Saras Spears unit, one on either flank. Then across his front, he's sort of intermixed the Skink cohorts and Saras warriors with shields going along as we go. Monster-wise, he's got 2 Feral Bastidodons, one on either flank, one here, one over here in the woods somewhere. And then he's got 2 Cold One Spear Riders. These are really good anti-cavalry and it's one of the reasons I didn't bother bringing cavalry myself. Is I thought these will probably get zoned out by the Cold Ones. Heroes, he's got the Saras Old Blood and the Scar Veteran, both on Carnosaurs. Looking pretty scary here. So 2 more big old monsters. And then finally for magic, he's got the Skink Priest with the Beast's magic, and he's taking Flock of Doom. So my plan is to try and hold the front line as long as I can with heavy infantry, although not quite as heavy as I originally planned, and then see if I can harass with the 2 Star Dragons. So let's press play. Straight away I'm going to hit the Cold Ones with Dragon Breath. I'm hoping to do as much damage, maybe take these off the field as early as I can, and kind of free up my dragons, because they are quite a big threat to my dragons, these Cold Ones. So the first breath goes fine, second breath over here. I do target possibly the wrong unit and completely miss and do no damage to pretty much anything. So kind of a waste of a breath there, which is a shame. These dragons have 3 breaths each, so they're now down to 2 each. One of them done some damage and one of them done nothing. So it's something you don't want to waste. You don't want to target them as best as you can. So as you can see, my opponent's coming down. He's going to smash straight into my front lines, and like I say, I kind of wish that I had the Phoenix Guards up front. You can see a miscast here. Unfortunately, very unfortunately, this was a misclick. my inability, my inexperience, or my fat fingers has meant that instead of angling it right across the line, it's a very powerful spell. It goes up this way, and it's a complete waste, which is a bit unfortunate. But there we go. We're still learning on these things. My front line is fully engaged. I'm still trying to use my dragons to hit the Cold One Spear Riders. I do put some fire into the back of this, possibly hitting my own guys as well. Maybe a little bit. I've done much more damage to him though, and I do actually looks like I rout one of these skink cohorts as well. So my frontline infantry is looking good, but you can see the power of his monsters just smashes straight through my front line and then straight into my back line, causing damage and fear and all the rest of it. And that's going to be his plan, tie me down as much as he can. He's going to have the two Cold One Spear Riders hanging out here. He knows my dragons want to come down, so what I'm going to do is try and jink down here, bring the Cold Ones over a little bit, and then I'm going to dive in with my Prince on this side. And hopefully get some damage done. As soon as he moves his Cold One Spear Riders over to my right flank, I'm then going to dive in left flank with my dragon. And this is pretty much the only way I can think that I can get my dragons down and some use out of them, because there's a lot of money tied up in these two dragons, and these Cold Ones are going to do some severe damage to them if they catch them. So I'm trying to kind of bait him one way and jink, and then go in the other way and get some sort of value out of these 2-star dragons. Without taking too much damage. You can see as soon as I do go down, he is trying to focus me with some of these enemy heroes. So back up into the air and another volley into the Spear Riders. I'm not sure that's the best use of the Dragon Breath, but I really wanted to get these off. I don't know if I could attack these directly now, or whether I would still take too much damage. I'm not sure. Again, a little bit of my inexperience. You can see my my right flank actually performed very well. I routed a Feral Bastillodon, but you can see a massive error here, is that I allowed my Phoenix Guard to chase them. I should have had these on guard mode, and unfortunately it chases them off. And these very, very expensive infantry should have been at my front line. I could have easily used my dragons, who are kind of struggling to get down now anyway, to rout these or anything else, and I could have got my Phoenix Guard back up front doing some proper damage. So you can see right here that my Prince goes down. He is pinned by the Scar Veteran. The Cold Ones come in, and look at how much damage he takes. Just absolutely wrecked being on the ground here. Just thousands, a chunk of maybe 500 points that goes off there. Another 500 points has just gone there. You can see the amount of damage that's going into, and my Prince wrapped. So that was pretty much a full health Star Dragon Prince, down to, I don't know, what's that, a quarter health maybe, routing in seconds, literally seconds. And another massive micro error here. My Phoenix Guard do catch and kill the Bastillodon, and I kind of forget about them, and they're sitting out here doing nothing. Incredibly expensive, incredibly powerful infantry, kind of sitting on the sidelines with their thumb up their proverbial. So really massive error for me. Having those in the fight would have really helped my front line out now, especially as it is starting to struggle against some of these, not really the infantry. They're holding up fine against the infantry, but the monsters and the Cold One. So my Dragon Prince does come back down again, and I'm going to use him as best I can, but I have to say I am struggling a little bit with what to do with them, because you can see as soon as they come down, they're going to get targeted by enemy heroes and Spear Riders, and I think they're going to try and make a beeline straight for me, but the heroes are definitely making a beeline. So I'm trying to get down, and I'm trying to do as much damage as I can, and then get back up in the air, but it's a little bit awkward. I'm a little bit at a loss of kind of what to do with them, so I don't know how best to use them. I think they were very good in the early game with their Dragon's Breath, but I'm struggling a little bit now in late game of how to use them effectively, how to sort of come down effectively. It's not helped by, you can see my front line is absolutely trashed, and again the Phoenix Guard weren't on guard mode, so they try and chase off another Bastillodon, which is going to go, but it just pulls out the Phoenix Guard from the front line and makes the front line collapse, and the Spearmen get absolutely completely overwhelmed. I do finally get my other Phoenix Guard back again. I've realised that they're sitting out there, so this is going to be a last-ditch effort to attempt to break the enemy. I've got my 2 Phoenix Guard, I've got a Loathing Sea Guards just about to get swamped, and I've got 2 Star Dragons. So I'm going to make one final push to hopefully try and break the infantry of my opponent. Phoenix Guard are better not charging. They're better sitting still as they've got charge defense against all, but I'm going to charge them in. I'm going to try and tie up as much infantry as I can, and then I'm going to dive in with my 2 dragons. So the first one comes in here onto a side charge and immediately gets swamped by Coldborn Spear Riders, and my second one, my prince, is going to come and try and do a rear charge and hopefully break the morale of the enemy. But you can see the morale of the enemy is so high at the moment. And they've still got their 2 heroes, they've still got their Coldborn Spear Riders, and my opponent brings them out and then back in again, and again they just do massive damage to my dragons, who just cannot hold up against this kind of armor piercing anti-large damage. So my prince does go down here. He doesn't just get routed, he gets actually killed, which leaves me with a single Star Dragon and some rather beat up infantry. So I know at this point absolutely 100% that I've lost this battle. It's only a matter of time until my opponent manages to completely overwhelm me and I get routed off the battlefield. But we'll give it one last try. My Phoenix Guard are still fighting bravely in amongst all the Lizzardmen. And I'm going to do a couple of charges with my Star Dragon, which is going to do pretty much nothing because I've got absolutely no way to deal with the Scar Veteran and the Old Blood. So I think some mistakes were made. Certainly some mistakes were made, especially with my micro and some of my magic, and I think a little bit of inexperience of what to do with my Star Dragons as well. Like I said, I really like them early game. Late game, I'm not sure if it's the right pick for late game. Maybe I've just used them incorrectly. That's probably more likely. I think if I'd used them maybe to try and deal with the enemy heroes or the enemy monsters quicker, would have left them much freer reign later on. So if I could have taken out some of the enemy large units with my 2 Star Dragons, and then used my ground infantry to deal with like the Coldborn Spear Riders, then my dragons would have been more relevant late game. And perhaps this would have been a slightly different outcome. But there we go. I'm going to charge him one last time with my Star Dragon, really out of some sort of defiance rather than anything else. Get another couple of kills, but again he's going to get set on as soon as he lands by everything, and he's going to be routed, chain route, and that's the end. So we'll end the replay. So you can see on my side, my ground infantry did perform pretty well, especially my Phoenix Guard here is 129 kills, 54 kills here. My Star Dragon 95, which is pretty good. So the Star Dragons did okay, for sure. It's just what I do with them late game. I think my opponent's quality, his experience, and his knowledge of especially unit stats really helped him out, and you could see that late game where I started to struggle. He still was in full control and managed to really kind of put it to me late game. And I think my inability to deal with his enemy heroes and large units was probably one of my downfalls. So that's it. Congrats to my opponent. I really enjoyed the battle. I think I put up a nice fight. I certainly lasted longer than I thought it was or would do, and I got a good account of myself. So I was pretty happy with that, even though it was a loss. And I think next time we might mend this army a little bit and try the higher tier army. Anyway, that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.